the governments are fighting wars, but the people are dying on it.
Welcome to the Dreams of Consciousness podcast. If you'd be so kind, would you mind introducing yourself?
Hi, my name is Eddie. I'm the vocalist of Herida Profunda.
And Eddie, how would you describe the music of Herida Profunda?
So I think since the beginning, the idea was to be as close as possible to grindcore, but never just to, place yourself in this only style of music. So we mainly, I think, focus on the grindcore, but we take a lot from thrash metal, death metal, hardcore punk, crust punk, whatever we like, whatever we feel.
So, grindcore is a pretty wide scene with a lot of variation within the style. Would you say that your music is maybe a little bit closer to the crust side and maybe closer to the old school original version of grindcore that came out in the 80s?
I think definitely the early releases, they there was not such, it wasn't that fast, so it was more crust punk then. I think the latest thing is closer, because of the speed of it, is closer to grindcore, because there's loads of blast beats, but still we are more in the old school way of playing than the new school.
So the other thing I should mention is that Herida Profunda is mostly based in Poland. Is that correct?
Yes. Well, Herida Profunda was started in Poland, and we are 4 Polish guys. I started the band, I think, in 2012. So we're going to hit 10 years old, or we maybe already did. We are 10 years old as a band. But in 2014, I relocated to UK. So we are still a Polish band, but 3 guys are living in Poland and 1 is living in UK now.
And we'll speak a little bit more about how having the members living in different locations has affected your songwriting when we speak about this latest album. You mentioned that the band formed in 2012. What led you to form the band? How did you guys get together originally?
Well, I think from 2012, it's only me who is literally from the original lineup. I think from the current lineup, the others have joined just after the recording of our first self-titled album, because he wasn't even in the band then yet. He recorded that album because he's a sound engineer, but later, I think our guitarist, he left the band, and because we had a European tour booked, and we didn't have a guitar player basically, so we asked Andras, who recorded the album, and he knew all the songs basically because he recorded them, if he wants to join us for a European tour and then maybe just consider playing us, because we used to live in 2 different cities, maybe 100 kilometers apart. It wasn't that difficult to meet once a while for a rehearsal and played some gigs. So we've done this European tour just on the basis I'm going to do it with you guys just to help you out. We drive from Poland to Spain and back. And after the tour, he just stayed, and he's still there. So, and he's a core of Herida Profunda. So it's it went quite good from that perspective.
This original version of Herida Profunda, was the intention mostly just to play grindcore, or did you have other goals as well?
I didn't have in mind that we're going to play grindcore. I knew I wanted to play, extreme music because I love extreme music, but it's not only grindcore that I listen to, and I used to listen back then. So it just evolved that way. But yeah, that was the main goal, just to play a death metal, crust punk, hardcore, grindcore, whatever you call it. But yeah, that was the main reason. I used to have a grindcore band. Well, since I was a teenager, I was always in some kind of band. I had a grindcore band probably between 2000 and 2008. So when that stopped, it took me about 4 years to start another one. But it was always on the back of my head, since I was a kid, I always had a band more or less active. So I knew at some point I'm just going to form another band. So that's how Herida Profunda started.
And heading into that first self-titled album, when did you settle on a style? When did you guys decide or become comfortable with the kind of style that Herida Profunda is known for?
It's a good question, actually, because we never settled on the style. We never had this kind of conversation. When we started, it was just meeting for the weekends, in the evening with a 6-pack of beers just to have fun in the evening. And that's basically how the whole song was written for the first album. So we never really discussed this. Especially the first album was written with 2 of my friends from my hometown. And then after the first album, the whole lineup basically changed. So I don't think we ever had this discussion, what direction we want to go, what we're going to do on the next release, this is how it just evolved. There was always this idea to play some form of extreme music. There was also always the idea to have like a heavily distorted bass line. Maybe that's something that recognizes us, but other than that, never really settled on anything. And I don't think we are settled right now. In next album could be black metal if we feel like it.
Do you feel like you're very open-ended? I mean, you mentioned thrash influences and death metal influences as well as grindcore and crust punk. Do you feel Herida Profunda has a lot of space to do whatever you want in terms of the music?
I think with our with the releases that we've done so far, we have defined ourselves somewhere near to that grindcore scene, and I don't think we're gonna go very far out of it. But from the other hand, I think we're quite open-minded when it comes to writing a new music, to be honest. So I don't think we're going to actually do the black metal record, but I wouldn't be surprised if we actually done one song that sounded like, neo-crust, Kaya style. That wasn't necessarily our style, but we really enjoy it. Actually, we write the song and we never recorded that, so it's still somewhere, in the hanging in the void. But I think as long as we're all happy with the outcome, I don't think the style is a limit for us.
Now, as you mentioned, in 2014, you moved to the UK. Whereabouts in the UK?
So originally I moved in Bedfordshire, half hour from Cambridge, and I spent 6 years there. But due to personal, a working arrangement and personal reasons, I relocated up north of England. So I'm near to Manchester right now for a year and a bit.
With you living in the UK and the rest of the band based in Poland, as well as some of the lineup changes that you mentioned, was there ever a feeling that maybe you wanted to put the band on hold, or were you guys very committed to keeping the band going?
I think when I was living back in Poland, my personal situation was also different. So we could literally, and we did literally play every single weekend. Within a year, we've done probably 50 weekends of weekend short trips somewhere to France, Belgium, Germany, Czech Republic, or whatever. Or we were doing a longer runs with European tours. So we used to play heavily when I was in Poland, but then not only for me but also for other members as well, as the personal circumstances have changed. So that's why we obviously, because I relocated to UK, we slowed down. But it was not only reason for to slow down with intense touring. And I think it's the same right now. The whole world have stopped 2 years ago because of the COVID-19. So it doesn't really matter if I would be in Poland or not for the last 2 years. We wouldn't play anyway. It's probably slowing some things up. But I don't think we ever had this idea to put the band on hold. Obviously, there was some kind of frustration and some kind of, upsides and downsides. But I think as long as we are all happy with the pace it goes, then we just keep it going.
With you living in a different country, how does the songwriting typically work with Herida Profunda?
I used to have a more influence for a musical content. Right now, how it works is mostly our drummer Yahoo and Jendras meet together because they are only two guys who used to live in the same city. That's not the case anymore, but they are still living not far from each other. So I think that definitely the latest album, and probably some splits or some even the tribute appearances where we've done just a cover song. The whole arrangement from the music point of view, it was done between the drummer and the guitarist. So Yahoo and Jendras meet together. They usually put something together. Then they try to record it, even if it's like, the crap video or crap rehearsal footage from your mobile phone. And then they send it to me. If I have any comments, then I will just share them, because we have like the chat online or whatever. But yeah, mostly the music is done by the drummer and the guitarist. Then the bass line comes in the meanwhile, and once there is a core of the song, they send it to me like a raw footage or raw video, and then I try to work out some kind of lyrical content. And then on the nearest occasion, if we have a chance to meet and play together, like a rehearsal or whatever, then we will practice the new songs. Sometimes, if we won't have a chance to meet, I will just come over and record it. And then there are a few songs that we have written and recorded before playing live, actually. But yeah, that's just the reality. Yeah, but that's probably the whole latest album. That's how it was written.
How complete are the songs when they send them to you, these video camera phone versions that you hear?
I think we start from the idea, or like from the riffs, or from whatever they have in mind, and then we just put we discuss about it. If there are any comments, then they can take it on board and they can say, no, it's not going to work. Then at the later stage, when there is some kind of form for the song, I sit down and I try to work out some lyrics. And when I know if I need, more space for a lyrics or like more time, then we have to repeat something again 4 times or whatever. Then that's being discussed, because that's happened sometimes where I'm saying I need more time for this riff, because I'm gonna have more lyrics here or less lyrics there. And then I think at the end, when the lyric kicks in, that's when the whole song is complete.
So you give a lot of feedback on the arrangements, as far as like how many times to repeat a riff so that you can fit your lyrics in. Is that correct?
Sometimes, only sometimes. It happened only a few times that I had some kind of request. Can we make this longer, or can we make this slower? Because it's gonna it's gonna work better with the lyrics, because obviously they will not know what's my idea for the lyrics before, because in general the music, the song, the musical content is created first, and then I sit down with the lyric. So it happened only a few times that I actually had some kind of request to arrange something so it fits better with the lyrics.
And obviously for the last few years, you probably didn't get a chance to go back to Poland because of all the travel restrictions. But how often before that did you get to go back and work with the guys or do rehearsals and things like that?
I think before the pandemic, the situation for me personally and for the band as well, because of that, was completely different. Because I have a 4-year-old daughter now, so she was actually born just when the COVID started. So we knew at that point, we knew we're going to slow down a bit, because I have a newborn baby at home, and I have to focus more on my family. But before that, it was being just me and my wife, it was quite easy to get on a plane on Friday evening after you work, the normal week work. Get on the plane Friday evening. You after 2 hours on the plane, you're in Poland. You get out. You have all Saturday, all Sunday, and then on Monday morning you're gonna be at work. And I've done this several times, so it wasn't a problem. Especially if you plan in advance, the flights are very, very cheap. Like you can really find really cheap flights from UK to Poland, to Poznań, where I fly, because that's where we base basically. So yeah, I could be quite often, and we could play like Poland, Czech Republic, Germany, whatever you want, like you name it. Even if we do like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like a three gig weekend there, it was quite easy then. Then when the COVID kicked in, obviously the whole world stopped. But from the other hand, everything began for me differently because I become a father. So I don't know, we'll see if the world restarts. It's trying to restart, but there are new cases all the time. So we don't have anything planned as for now, but we'll probably think about playing some gigs pretty soon.
So let's talk about Power to the People. That's the title of your second full-length, Herida Profunda album, and it was released on the 22nd of July through a few different labels, actually. Yeah. You mentioned that the writing process for the band has changed a little bit with the members living in different cities and, in your case, a different country. Would you say that affected the sound of the album? Would you say that the sound of Power to the People is a little bit different than the songs on the first full length?
The songs between the first and the second album are definitely different, mainly because both albums are done with a totally different lineup, and probably both of them, I would say the second album is much faster, and it's full of blast beats, and I think that's the way we wanted to go with this album. It's probably also the abilities of our new drummer. Well, he's not new, but he's a different drummer than the one on the first release, on the first album. So yeah, I think the album is completely different. The Power to the People is completely different to the self-titled release.
When did you guys start working on the album? Or when was the album begun?
Oh my God. It was ages ago, to be honest. our drummer, our guitarist will probably be able to tell you exactly when we started to write or when the first song was ready that we said, oh, okay, that's going to be a song that we're going to record for the second album. But I wouldn't be surprised if that was like a 2017 or something like this. Like the writing process, because we didn't feel any pressure to record. Oh, we have 12 months to write 15 songs and we have to record them, and 3 months later they have to be pressed on the vinyl. We never set up such a goal, so the writing process took a long time. Then for me to create the lyrics and then arrange them and fly to Poland to record them, it took another ages, like a pretty long time. It took me so long, probably because of my laziness and also other commitments outside of the band. But it took so long that I started to piss off our guitarist, because he wrote the song. Basically, he came up with the riffs and he said, oh, these songs are ready waiting for you and you're doing some other shit. But yeah, it took really long time to record, then for me to work out the lyrics and then record them. And obviously right now the pressing plants are so busy. So even to work out the whole deal with the record labels and then get the test presses and get the pressing done, that was another year on top of our, or maybe my laziness, not the band, not the whole band laziness, because they write the song, they wrote the song, and it was me who was delaying it for quite a long time with the lyrics. But I would say at least 3 years ago, we probably already had the first song that we knew we knew it's gonna go on the new album. But it took us that much time to finally, for the album to see the light.
A few of these songs were on the split with Psychoneurosis and Suffering Quota, right?
Yes, so that's another thing. We've played, because we started to play some of the new songs that we actually liked, and we decided to play them on the gigs during the live shows. And we've played 161 festival in Warsaw. We've played few new songs, and this festival was recorded, so we got the audio from that festival. So we decided to do that. In the meantime, we had this idea to do the three-way split. So we decided to do like a intro for a new album, because we already had the new songs, and we had those new songs recorded in live version, so people could maybe, after listening to 3 songs, could maybe work out or had the idea what to expect from the new record. So that was the idea.
Do you want to say anything about the lyrics of the album and what inspired you?
Well, we've always been a politically involved band when it comes to like a lyrical content, and it didn't really change that much this time. Most of the lyrics are some kind related to politics or to like a socio-political situation, both in Europe but especially in Poland, because we are Polish guys. So that's the reality we live in, or I used to live in, but that was one of the reasons to leave Poland. So most of the lyrical content is just a comment to what's happening on the political or like a socio-political scene in Poland or across the Europe in some cases. So if someone knows our previous releases or lyrics on the previous releases, probably nothing new to expect.
Basically a lot of songs about religion, government, totalitarianism, things like that, right?
Yes, correct, yeah. The ruling party right now in Poland is extremely, like, it's linked extremely with the Catholic Church. So there is no distinction between the Catholic Church and the government. It's basically what the Catholic Church want, the government will do, because of the close ties, because of the money involved. And obviously, when it comes to the Catholic Church, it's, the extreme right is very close to the so-called religion. And at the same time, the ruling party gives a silent acceptance for like racism and homophobia and all the kind of shit that you can imagine. There is a silent acceptance for nationalist groups to grow and to even get into the government. From being football hooligans and the Nazi skinheads when they were in their 20s. Now they are 40s and they are starting to become politicians, which is a pretty much fucked up situation to live in the country where it's happening in the government. So yeah, most of the lyrical content on the new album is a comments to some of the fucked up things that Polish government is doing.
Now, at the same time that you became a recent immigrant to the UK and were living and working there, the UK also had a very right-wing turn in terms of Brexit and immigration and things like that. Did that affect, did that influence or inspire some of the lyrics?
There is a one of the lyrics that is strictly about UK and about my what I've noticed here. The song is called Remembrance Day, and the Remembrance Day is a national holiday to remember the soldiers that die in the wars. But it's English or British. I'm not sure if it's English or British, but it's basically a national holiday here in UK. So yeah, the song Remembrance Day on the new album is just a comment to this national holiday that is actually called Remembrance Day. It's very common here that English people will wear a poppy seed badge, or they will stick it on their car or whatever. They will show it everywhere just to demonstrate how grateful they are. I'm not sure how to put it in words, but it's basically demonstrating the remembrance of the people who died in the war, which I would assume British people thinks that it's the people who died for their freedom. But I have to be honest, maybe it's wrong, but me personally, I have a completely different point of view to this holiday or Remembrance Day, however you want to call it. So that song is a comment to that.
Yeah, I'm from Southeast Asia, and so I have a different view of, a lot of people will think of American soldiers as heroes who are fighting for freedom, but, I live in the part of the world where the bombs fell, and so it's
yeah,
it's kind of hard for me to see that as heroic, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's from my perspective, every war is unnecessary evil. The wars are not the governments are fighting wars, but the people are dying on it. So if you I personally, it was mandatory in Poland to be a teenager to have this a military training, or if you don't go to university, you will have to go for a year to become a soldier, for 1 year. So you are in your national reserve.
So national service?
Yes. But I didn't give a fuck about this. So I went to uni, but I still didn't go for I was supposed to do a 3-month course or something. And I said, fuck you, you can just do whatever you want. You can put me in jail, but I'm not going, I'm not going to fight for my country anyway, because I don't give a fuck about my country. So, at least from the military point of view, I like, there are nice mountainside and nice lakes and nice woods in my country that I like, but I don't give a fuck about the government and their wars. So I don't need their, a training of how to become a soldier. So that's what motivated me basically to write Remembrance Day, because if I wouldn't like, I don't know, my father to die on the war, I wouldn't let him go there. And I have a daughter myself, and I wouldn't go to the war I wouldn't fight for any country, including the one I was born in, because I don't think any country is worth any soul to die, if you know what I mean.
So I understand that most of the album was recorded by your guitarist Jędras at his own studio. Is that correct?
So yeah, Jędras is running Riot Studio in Poznań. It's mostly based in Rozgrad Squad, but he also you can go to his house and record, or he can come to your place, or even to the other city. He just takes the gear and he can come to your recording space or your rehearsals room, and he can record your stuff. So yeah, I think since the day one, even the first album, although Jędras wasn't a part of the band, he recorded it, and then he became our guitarist. And then since then, all our releases I basically recorded by him. So he records them, he mixes everything, and he prepared the master for all the different variants of the CD, tape, vinyl, whatever. It sounds shit that we know who's responsible for it.
Well, it doesn't sound shit, right? It sounds pretty good.
Thank you. I'll let you know.
Did you fly to Poland to record your parts, or did you record your parts individually in the UK?
No, for the album, I fly to Poland and we recorded in his house. So usually that's how we do it. At the point when I'm flying to record the vocals, the music is already recorded. We have agreement on the sound and on the music, so everything is top notch from the musical content point of view. And then I can polish all the lyrics to the final version of the music. And that's usually how I would do it. Probably the same for the part to the people is put the music on when I'm driving to work and driving back. And just put it as loud as possible in the car and just shout on the highway just to practice. But yeah, I fly to Poland and I recorded the vocals during the probably Saturday, Sunday drinking session.
You got to hear a pre-production mix before you recorded your vocals?
I don't have to hear it, but usually usually the music is already recorded, yeah, when I'm flying to Poland to record the vocals.
And there was also a guest vocalist on this album as well, right?
Yes, we asked Nika. She's currently in two bands called Morus and Pochwalone, but back in the 80s or like early 90s, she was a vocalist of Post Regiment. So a very important punk rock vocalist in Poland from very important hardcore punk band in Poland. So we are really thrilled that Nika agreed to sing the part of it.
Do you guys know her well, or did you just approach her to see if she would be interested?
We know Nika because Jędras probably knows Nika much longer than I do. She lives in Warsaw, so when we played Warsaw, I don't know how many years ago, we stayed in her place. So yeah, we know each other, and I pretty much Jędras knows her much better than I do or any of us do. But I think he did approach her, and I wouldn't be surprised if Jędras was involved in recording some other bands where Nika is normally involved. So yeah, we just asked her. I had this idea to invite her, and I shared it with Jędras with our preparation. He said, "Oh, it would fit perfectly," because we needed some the clear vocal, ideally from a woman or a girl. So that was like basically the idea, and well, the first thing comes to your mind is the best punk vocalist in Poland. So yeah, Jędras asked her, and she said yes. And I think it was like a coincidence that she was like, when he asked her, it wasn't like a long year after she was visiting his city. So she just visited him, and they recorded it. So it went pretty fast and pretty smooth.
Do you want to say anything about the artwork for the album or the photo that's on the album?
So it was a long discussion. I had this idea because we always had a problem to come up with something that we always want to do that have some meaning behind it, you know. And with the previous covers, or at least artworks, we worked with the drawing. So all the three split releases that we have done previously was the cover artwork was a drawing, and it's actually done by the same guy, Rafał Wechtorowicz from Poland, very good drawer, very good artist. We definitely wanted to do something different and something that we haven't done before, and maybe something that is not maybe that much, you know, recognizable with the Grindtember style or with like a, you know, extreme music. And I had this idea. It came to my mind because we had this photo. The baby on the photo is my daughter when she was like a few months old, or like maybe 11, 12 months old. And she had this jumper. I think my mother ordered this and she brought it to her, but she knew it's going to be a more gift for me because I'm going to be happy about it. And my daughter is wearing, you know, the baby suit with the Herida Profunda logo. But basically, yeah, my mother made it for her, and we shoot the picture of it just to have it, you know, for the family as a souvenir. And then I had this idea, you know, power to the people, and we have suddenly I have a new generation under my, you know, wings. So I had a long discussion with my wife. Do we want to do it? Do we want to put my daughter's picture on the, you know, on the cover album? That it's not gonna be, it's quite private thing from my perspective, and definitely a very private thing from my wife's perspective. So before I even shared this idea with the band, I had a long discussion with my wife, and then we had a long discussion with the guys, and then the photo itself triggered a long discussion, and then the way how we presented the title, you know, it's like a graffiti tag on the wall behind her. That was again a long discussion within the band. This time we wasn't sure if we are going too far from, you know, from the style, But then that was the whole idea. So after all, I'm very happy with it. And I was pushing to have this kind of like, like I don't know, like graffiti or like the tag that is not really recognizable with the grindcore. And there was like a few pros and cons, but after all, we all agree on this cover. I'm pretty happy with it. It's very simple, but you see it once and you will know. So yeah, it was a lot of hours of discussion with my wife and with the band how to do it. But after all, I'm happy with it.
Do you want to say anything about the label that you run, 783 Punks?
Probably I started the label when we were releasing the first album. So it's probably the label is as long as a band, because the whole initial idea was to, if you're an unknown band from the shithole like my hometown, you just start the record label to release your own band. But since then it evolved quite a bit. I have released quite a few other bands, and I continue to do so. I focus mostly on the tapes and vinyls, and it's quite often that I will co-release some releases, especially LPs, because of the pressing cost, because of the probably the pressing cost. And in recent years, I also heavily invested in the distro. So I grew from the distribution side quite a lot. So right now I hold like obviously I release the DIY bands, and the label runs on the DIY ethics. So I trade a lot, but I buy a lot wholesale from like a major labels, and so in my distro you can find the DIY bands. You can find like a big labels and big bands. But yeah, I run it here from UK, and I mostly focus on the sales in UK, but I ship worldwide. So you can, if you're interested, it's 73 punks with the X like X-ray at the end.com. We just had a Herida Profunda record out on the 22nd. And a week before that, we had a release date for a new Human Cool LP. And Human Cool is an excellent death grind, probably the best death grind band currently in UK. At least for me, I just love them. I'm a huge fan of Human Cool, and I was involved in releasing their previous album. So I'm very happy to be a part of the latest one. So that's the two latest releases that we've done. Then the next plan from the label point of view, and it's going to be a one where Herida Profunda will also appear, will be a blast beat tribute to Typo Negative. So that's the idea that I have for a year now. It's a long running project, but I have about probably 30 bands all over the world, mostly grindcore bands, that have arranged and recorded slow and long Typo Negative song in the version of blast beat short grindcore song. So that was basically the only condition for the blast beat tribute. Take the long and slow song and turn it into the grindcore song, but make it still recognizable. So anyone who likes Typo Negative and who likes blast beats probably will be happy. I am definitely, because I like both.
So as Eddie mentioned, Power to the People is out now. Eddie?
Yeah?
How can people order the album? You mentioned a few different labels.
Yes, so Power to the People, the LP version was released as a heavy vinyl inside the gatefold packaging, and there is a printed, double-sided printed insert with the lyrics on top of that. The LP comes in two different variants. The standard is a black, obviously. The special edition, the limited one edition, is a black with white splatter, and it comes with a custom printed sleep mat. So there is a reward grindcore anti-fascist logo, where also our logo appears on the sleep mat, but basically it's a sleep mat for your turntable. And I always participate in with the 73 punks with the Herida Profunda releases. So in UK you can order it from me through my web store, www.783punks.com. You can get it in Europe through 7 Degrees Records in Germany, or you can get it in North America through Widescreen Records or To Live a Lie. So it's 4 labels that was involved in this project. And then soon the CD version will be also available through 73 Punks in UK and in Europe, and Give Price Records in USA.
Now, will people be able to order the digital version through your Bandcamp page?
Yeah, I think all the labels have the digital version. The whole album is right now already on all the streaming platforms. You know, the Spotify and iTunes and all this stuff. It's done through the distributor, but also through the Bandcamp. So we have a Bandcamp from Herida Profunda, which is heridaprofunda.bandcamp.com, and there is a digital album also on the 73 Punks Bandcamp. So yeah, I think the album is also available from Bandcamps from the other labels, from Live Alive, from Widescreen, and from 7 Degrees Records.
And if people want to follow Herida Profunda online, what's the best way to do that?
I would say Facebook and or Instagram. We don't have a website. We never had a website, so all the merch is on our Bandcamp, or just you can DM us through Bandcamp or through Facebook or through Instagram. And all of them are just a band name, Herida Profunda.
And what's next for you guys? What do you have planned now that the album is out?
So we are postponing the Spanish tour and the festival in SWR Festival in Portugal for 3 years now because of the pandemic. So hopefully at some point we'll be able to do that festival in Portugal and do the Spanish tour again. We played in Spain 2016. We had this plan to repeat the probably a week tour, but didn't happen because of the COVID-19. So hopefully a new record will be a good explanation or a good excuse to finally do this. What's next? I'm not really sure, to be honest. We didn't discuss it yet. Probably if we're not pressured to do 6-month tour, because obviously I have a 4-year-old daughter. Our drummer have a child even younger right now. But if something comes up, we'll always consider and probably play if it makes sense. Because obviously with us, it's usually with the gigs, it's usually the arrangement that we will not do a one-off, because it just doesn't make sense from the money point of view. You have to get to the airport, fly, and then get together from 3 different cities in Poland, get on the car, and then drive from Poland, or 3 other guys from Poland have to meet there and fly to UK. So usually it's like at least a weekender. But if we have a good excuse like a festival or some nice proposal, we'll put ourselves together and do it. That's how we always done it. So we don't really have anything scheduled right now except promoting the LP, hopefully also through gigs.
Is there anything else you want to say?
Well, thank you for reaching out. And I hope my English is not that shit. Everyone understands what I wanted to say. And yeah, check out the band, check out the label, and get in touch to say hello.
Thanks so much, Eddie.
Thank you.